All right, Steeler fans, time for the winners and losers segment. If you listen to the first half of the podcast, I hope that y'all didn't find yourself thinking, well, Jeff, you can't just gloss over this game. You can't just say, well, this is the way it is and this is what happened and we're just going to move on to Baltimore. No, I'm not doing that. We're going to spend an entire segment on things that went wrong in this game in week 15. But I just wanted to reiterate that there are times as a coach, and I'm sure Mike Tomlin and his coaching staff are in this mode right now, and that is, you just got outworked, you got outclassed, you just got beat. You got your doors beat in. We got to move on. You sit and dwell on it. You just got to move on. And there was one point in the press conference for Mike Tomlin after the game where he was asked, how do you avoid this from snowballing? He goes, my gosh, it was just a loss. Let's not be dramatic. Yeah, it was just a loss. They didn't have 2 prior losses and this turns into a 3-game losing streak. No, they had won 2 games in a row and they dropped this one. So, hey, let's move on and let's do that. But let's talk about this game. We have winners and losers, 3 winners, 9 losers. Let's talk about the winners. The winner is TJ Watt. First winner, I should say. TJ Watt's stat line: 7 tackles, 5 solo, 2 sacks, 1 tackle for loss, 2 quarterback hits, and 1 forced fumble. To be honest, I'm shocked he didn't have 2 forced fumbles. I still don't know how, when he beat Lane Johnson and he has Jalen Hurts dead to rights and he goes to punch the ball, and I don't know how he doesn't dislodge the ball. Maybe Jalen Hurts has gigantic hands. I don't know. But still, TJ Watt, up until the point where he got injured, was having a great game, a fantastic game. His 2 sacks have him at double-digit sacks for another season. I think he's done it a total of 6 years now, or maybe there's more than that. I think I saw that statistic. I'll look that up, where he's had double-digit sacks. Just incredible. But I think what was great, what was good for me to see, is that he was going against Lane Johnson. Oh my gosh. I mean, Tom Brady and that crew were just slobbering all over Lane Johnson. And here's the thing. The Eagles were confident, almost to the point of arrogance, as how they approached TJ Watt. They left him on an island a good bit. And it wasn't until he started to wreck the game. And then they said, okay, we got to shade some help this way a little bit more. So TJ Watt, I was happy to see that he's still capable, because you don't realize unless you watch it play in and play out that what this guy has to go through just to get to the quarterback. So it was good to see him beat a really good player in Lane Johnson on more than one occasion, and he was having a hell of a game. Let's hope that injury is not serious. Next, the takeaways. The Eagles had only turned the ball over 11 times the entire season. And I think in their 9-game winning streak, they had only turned it over, 5 times, something like that, some crazy number. Steelers take it away twice. They are a group that's going to take the ball away. It's just a question of how. In this game, 2 forced fumbles. All right, so TJ Watt with the peanut punch as Jalen Hurts was running with the football. And then also Mark Robinson on special teams on Cooper DeJean. He gets his helmet on the football. Key takeaways. The problem with this, and I didn't put this in the losers column, I could have, but I didn't, but I'll say it here, is that the takeaways only resulted in 3 points. Meanwhile, when we get to Najee Harris in the loser segment, you'll see that the Eagles did something different. And then the last winner, the third and final winner, is playoff spot clinched. And the stat line is simple. They're in. They are in. Are they satisfied? Should they be satisfied? Should we be satisfied as a fan base? And the answer to all those questions is a resounding no. No one should be satisfied. Yes, that's great. They're in. They've punched their ticket. But that does not mean in any stretch that anyone, the team, the coaching staff, the front office, the fan base should say, all right, guys, let's sit back, relax. We got 3 weeks to just kind of coast. Here we go. No, you can't do that. So in this case, it's good. The stepping stone, first one is down. They punch their ticket. Let's see what they do in these final 3 games. All right, so those are your 3 winners. Let's go to the 9 losers after this 27-13 loss. The losers, the offensive game plan. The stat line the only stat line I need to put here, and I could put here about the running offense. I could put here about third down offense. Some of that's going to have its own place here in the loser segment. My stat line for the offensive game plan is that they didn't have a first down until the second quarter. No first down until the second quarter. And what this tells me is that the offensive game plan, when they came into it, how wrong was the estimation for what the Eagles were going to do. I don't understand this. I don't know how to improve it. I'm not going to pretend. That's a Coach KT Smith question. But how do you work on your script that's going to be successful? And every coach is probably different. All I know is that what I'm seeing isn't working. It's not effective. Therefore, it needs to change. Offensive game plan, no first downs until the second freaking quarter. Let's go to the next loser, and that is Najee Harris. What's his stat line? I'll read it to you. It's not fantastic or by any stretch of the imagination. Najee Harris actually led the Steelers in rushing. 6 carries for 14 yards, 2.3 yard average, and a 7-yard long. But that's not why he's on the loser list. He's on the losers list because of the fumble. To me, this had a Rashard Mendenhall feel to it from Super Bowl 45. And if you know what Rashard Mendenhall fumble Super Bowl 45 against the Green Bay Packers means and what it is, and Clay Matthews, I'm not going there. That was a back-breaking fumble by Najee Harris. And this is not one of those, whose fault was it? If you're going to sit there and you're going to blame Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator, because you hate the toss sweep play, you can say that. But you cannot say that it's Arthur Smith's fault that Najee Harris took his eyes off the football and didn't catch it. You cannot blame anyone but Najee Harris. That was a back-breaking fumble. I mentioned this earlier. The Steelers had 2 takeaways, 3 points. The Steelers turned it over 1 time. The Philadelphia Eagles took that takeaway. They stormed all the way down the field and punched it in for 7. That's the difference. That's the difference. And then the following offensive possession, the Steelers don't go for it on 4th and 7. I don't blame this. This is not on the losers list. I'll put this right for everyone to hear. I didn't put this on the losers list because Mike Tomlin chose to not go for it on 4th and 7 with over 10 minutes left. Never in his wildest dreams would he think that his defense would not just not get the ball back, but to just be bled to death. Like this is a slow bleed, and they never see the football. I never would have guessed it. He never would have guessed it. Players probably never would have guessed it. Yet here we are. That Najee Harris fumble, the entire game flipped on its head after that. But let's continue with the losers. The third down offense went 3 for 10. 3 for 10. I don't know what it is about this group, but they make some very elementary plays look unbelievably painful. And so 3 for 10, think about how they didn't even have a first down until the second quarter. It was awful. It was atrocious. I think it was 5 straight 3-and-outs to start the game. That is, okay, so if you have 5 straight 3-and-outs, now all of a sudden your second half numbers are much better. But why do you have to wait till the second half to start finding some semblance of a rhythm, to finding some semblance of what works? That's not sustainable. That's not good. That equates to losing football. The third down offense is on the losers list. But so is the third down defense. Philadelphia finished the game 10 for 17 on third downs. 10 for 17. And to me, it wasn't just the fact that they were surrendering third down conversions. It was how they were surrendering third down conversions. And what I mean by that is how many times did we see as a fan base, people watching the game live, how many times did we see players running wide open? Devontae Smith, there's not a white jersey anywhere near him. There's not a soul in sight. What in the hell? I mean, this is what we're talking about here. It wasn't just that they were giving up the conversions. They had people just wide open. Whether that's a blown coverage, that's my assumption, or whether it's a great play and great scheme, could be. I don't know, but this was bad. Third down defense was bad. All these moments, all these times, you're like, okay, just get off the field. Just get off the field. Couldn't get off the field, especially in the second half. Let's talk about tackling. The Steelers' tackling was horrendous all game. I think the two biggest, I guess you could say, accusers in this regard, Dante Jackson, who by Gainwell made him, he lost his jock strap. He could pick it up at the desk after the game. That was a third down play. That's one of those where you're like, okay, this is what you want. They checked it down on 3rd and third and medium, go up, make a tackle, you get off the field. He goes up, completely whiffs. They get the first down. Chains keep moving. Patrick Queen, he got his ankle snapped at one point, I think by Jalen Hurts of all people. This was not just those two players. The tackling was bad across the board. They just never seem to, you have your normal guys like Cam Hayward, who's a good tackler, but still, it was bad. All game. Very, very bad. Next loser, the injuries. The list is growing. So as I mentioned, like Dante Jackson, the back injury, wasn't able to return. Justin Fields, abdomen, wasn't able to go back in there. Even if they wanted to use the Justin Fields package, they weren't going to. Why? He couldn't come back in. TJ Watt, labeled as a lower ankle. We'll see what that means. And this is all compounded by George Pickens not playing, hamstring. Deshaun Elliott not playing, hamstring. Larry Ogunjobi not playing, groin. The list is growing, folks. Not good. Not good. Hopefully we get some good injury news heading into week 16 in Baltimore. 3 more losers here. The next loser is the running game. The Steelers had, in this game, 56 total yards. 56 total yards. Folks, the Eagles were averaging over 100 yards surrendered on the ground a game. The Steelers had 56. And again, like I said, time and time again, what happened in the early portions of the game? The Steelers came out and they liked their multiple tight end sets. We saw plays where Connor Hayward, Darnell Washington, Michael Pruitt, and even Pat Freiermuth were on the field. Not at the same time, but you were times they had 3 tight end sets a lot. And they had all these players in line, which means they're right on the outside of the tackles. So what does this do to the Eagles? It causes them to bring their people inside as well. And they were winning those battles. So what did the Steelers do? Let's keep banging our head against the wall. What the hell? Maybe something different will happen. That's the epitome of idiocy, in my opinion. And so what you have in the second half, when they started to run the ball better, they were spreading them out, using multiple wide receiver sets, lighter packages, running on the smaller bodies. I'm glad they made the adjustment. It's just, why is it happening so late? Why is it happening in the second half? Why do we have to wait till the third and fourth quarter for this team to start finally figuring it out on offense? That's going to be the biggest issue for this team moving forward. The next loser, though, time of possession. You want to hear something crazy? Listen to this. The Philadelphia Eagles possessed the ball for 39 minutes and 52 seconds. The Steelers, 20 minutes and 8 seconds. The Philadelphia Eagles almost doubled up the Pittsburgh Steelers in terms of time of possession. That is insane. The Philadelphia Eagles out-Steelered the Steelers. The Steelers were the number 1 team in terms of time of possession, and they just got worked. And when you think about the fact that they punted that ball in the fourth quarter, and I think Dave Schofield said the Steelers only ran like 11 plays in the second half. They punted that ball in the fourth quarter with over 10 minutes left, and the Steelers didn't touch the football on offense again. Insane stuff. This is one of the times where, when you look at everything, there are times when you're a coach and you tip your cap to the opposition and say, job well done. And in this case, it's a job well done. You don't want to hear that, but yes, the Philadelphia Eagles certainly had a role in the Steelers in the way that this game played out. The last loser is the penalties. I mentioned how the Steelers were flagged 5 times for 60 yards to be official, but you had all these situations where Zach Frazier, like, tripping. I watched the replay. I can't say that it looked like it was intentionally tripping someone. You watch Montravius Adams getting the personal foul call, and it looked like he was blocked by the guard into the long snapper, and not that he was attacking the long snapper. You look at some of the penalties that were avoided or not called. So you have that situation where the Steelers are down in the red zone. Najee Harris just had a nice run to get him to 3rd and short, 2nd and short, something like that. And then what happens? Darnell Washington takes, I think it's Darius Slay, and just pile drives him into the wall. And mayhem ensues. Guys are throwing punches. Philadelphia Eagles are punching Steeler players in the helmet. And then they call 2 flags on the Steelers, and it bumps them way back and they end up having to settle for a field goal. Those type of situations happen. Then you have a situation where Connor Hayward gets punched essentially in the face twice by a defensive lineman for the Eagles. His name escapes my head. I think it's Jalen Carter. And this was during a punt, but then they somehow deemed that it was after the ball was kicked. Steelers thought they were going to get new life, new set of downs. No. Weird stuff happened in terms of penalties. And it's not just the Steelers, it's also the officiating in the NFL. But the Steelers do have to clean up a lot of their stuff. Like Dan Moore had a holding call. You had Van Jefferson for that illegal procedure. Just really weird stuff. They have to clean it up. You cannot have these self-inflicted wounds. But this was a strange game. The officiating was strange in this game. The way the game played out was weird. Just odd. And the Steelers lose 27-13. A lot of us saw this coming. I predicted the Steelers to win. I thought they would have a better showing than this. I was wrong. That's fine. The Steelers have a big game coming up Saturday, 4 p.m. Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers at M&T Bank Stadium. The division on the line. Is it going to be a race to the finish, or if the Steelers win, will they just ice it? And then you got the Chiefs on a short week after that, folks. It is going to be crazy here at the Steel Curtain Network. I hope that you are buckled up. I know it's the holidays, but this could be a big part of your day every single day by going to steelcurtainnetwork.com. Again, steelcurtainnetwork.com. Go there, check out those articles. We have great content there. And also check out all of our podcasts, not just Let's Ride every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Give all of our shows a check, and hopefully you all will find some that you find entertaining and worthwhile. And maybe you'll find, hey, like I've said this before, I'll say it again. This is a grassroots movement, people. If you owe Steeler fans, tell them about us. Check out this website. Give this podcast a check. Post it on your Facebook feed, Instagram account, Instagram stories, TikTok, Twitter, whatever. We appreciate everyone for sharing our content. We're growing, and it's all because of you. Thank you all very much. That's it for me. Unfortunately, there's no Victory Monday giveaway or anything like that, but be on the lookout for the Tuesday tweet for the mailbag segment. I will ask your questions. You provide those questions. I'll give you the answers on the show on Wednesday, but that does it for me. In the meantime, we finish this out. Be safe, be kind, and God bless. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you on Wednesday. Go Steelers.